Hi guys, and welcome to Witchin, Bitchin, podcast. I'm your host Darren.
And I'm Vicky. How are you all going? I hope you're enjoying your day wherever you are.
So Vicky, I want to ask you a question. Did you dream last night?
Yes, I did.
Oh,
Yes, I did.
it wasn't a good dream?
No, it wasn't. It wasn't actually. It was a bit of a nightmare, really.
Oh.
Yes. Yes.
Do you want to unpack
But
it a
it's
little
okay.
bit?
It's still fine. No. It's fine. It's fine. It's all good. But yeah, no, I'm someone that does remember their dreams a lot. And I dream
All the time?
Not all the time, but a lot.
A lot of the times. So guys, there's a reason why I'm asking her this question is because today we're actually going to be talking about dreams.
Yep.
Yes. So, originally we're going to do an episode just about lucid dreaming because I know that it's a hot topic, but we thought we'd make it a little bit more broader because I think before we dive deep on a specific subject, I think it's important to really understand the whole concept before we can be specific about a concept. So,
have that kind of foundation first, and then you can kind of delve in. And I mean, we'll touch on it. We'll touch on it today as well. Anyway.
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we'll touch on it and then see if you listeners want more. Let us know in the comments. Or send us a message and let us know which bits resonate and what you want us to go deeper on and all that kind of stuff. My my brain went somewhere else. Let's bring it back in. We're talking about dreams, brain, not other things.
Well, when we get into the who.
So, good segue. Because I said, tell us how deep you want us to go, and then segue into who. Yes. So the who is who are the forefathers of dream interpretation. So whilst dream interpretation has evolved over the years, we would say that the forefathers of it were very much Sigmund Freud, which is the father of psychology or modern psychology, and also Carl Jung, who is the father of all archetypes. So Vicky and I have both studied psychology and counseling over the years, so we're both pretty familiar with their work. I guess in a nutshell, though, I mean, Freud's a bit of a dirty guy. All of his stuff tends to be about sex. Is one thing. Everything's about sex. Usually he talks about the fact that women will have Oedipus complex, so their penis envy, and that men will have Electra complex, so envy for their mothers or whatnot, or they're wanting the affection of their mums. But then you had Carl Jung, who was all about the many archetypes. So the lover archetype, the warrior archetype, the fighter archetype, the protector archetype, and blah, 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 blah. But if you want to study more about that.
He comes very much in shadow work and things like that as well.
Which shadow work I would say is almost a type of dream work.
Yeah, because there is, again, it's that hidden part of ourselves, that part that we keep hidden.
And another good segue, because we're about to go from the who to the what of dreams. You go. So the what of dreams. So Vicky, what is your understanding or interpretation? And remember, guys, we're not Wikipedia, nothing.
No.
We're just, this is our opinions and interpretations on things based on what we know. So Vicky, what do you believe dreams are? What makes up a dream?
What makes up a dream? I think a lot of time they're a lot to do with our subconscious, the subconscious mind, or the unconscious mind. I always get those two a bit confused.
Much in the same.
They're
synonyms.
much the same. Yeah.
Subconscious, unconscious, same but different.
It's all that kind of thing. So I think a lot of it's our unconscious or subconscious mind working stuff out, kind of getting it all out and working through things. But then there's all sorts of different types as well. So like there could be prophetic dreams and things like that as well, which creates a whole other element to it.
Okay, shall we do a little bit of a dive on each one of these then?
Yes, I think.
Okay, so we might as well start with that one. It was not.
Yeah, let's kind of go.
That's okay. So we'll start off with prophetic dreams. No, you're fine. This way I have lists. See, because if this air sign is rubbed off to the water sign, now I have lists, so I can tick things off as I go.
That's right.
Yes.
See, that's right.
But being a water sign, I'm happy to go with the flow. So it's all good. We'll start with prophetic.
See, and I'm not. Look at me going like flipping around, and I'm the one that's on structure usually.
Yes. To me, you're like the fish that got pulled out of the ocean. It's just flapping around.
That's me. That's so me.
I'm joking. I digress. So prophetic dreams. So I guess you could say that prophetic dreams is like when you. Now, I believe anyway that these are kind of things that often tie in with deja vu. because you'll have a dream. This is my belief anyway. How I've experienced them. Most of the time, if I have a prophetic dream, so I dream about something that hasn't happened yet, but it's something realistic that I know there's a high probability it could happen. So I'll have the dream. I'll remember very vividly the dream, but then when you wake up and you realize, like, because usually in a prophetic dream, it feels so real because it's so in alignment with your reality that then when you wake up, you're like, oh, that was just a dream. Oh, but then when you carry on through your day, week, month, whatever, all of a sudden something will happen. You're like, wait, I've seen this before. And you don't know how to describe it because you're having this deja vu experience. And then it's eventually things will happen in a specific order. And you're like, hang on, I dreamt about this. I dreamt about this. This happened in my dream. So, that's on a very simplistic level of what is a prophetic dream.
Yeah.
Because you're kind of prophesizing what's going to happen.
Yeah, that's right. Using gifts and things like that. It's not something that I usually, like, I don't normally get messages and signs and stuff through dreams.
Oh, I do.
I don't think.
I
don't think, unless I just don't. I think I sleep too well sometimes.
See, I don't sleep well. I don't sleep.
Yeah, see, isn't that interesting? Whereas I do sleep, I need lots of sleep. So when I do finally get to sleep, I'm like asleep. But I do
sleep as opposed to awake asleep.
Awake asleep, I know. Proper sleep. But I do think that I kind of travel a little bit in my dreams as well.
Astral traveling. So that's
maybe
we'll circle back to that because that's almost in its own category.
That's a whole other thing.
And if I go on that tangent, then I might not come back.
No, that's right. That's a whole tangent right there.
Do we want to we'll park that one?
We'll just park it for now. We'll park
astral traveling. Maybe we might even need to do a whole thing on astral projection, astral traveling.
I think that would be really cool. I think we'll do a whole episode on it.
Yeah. So but because you can actually travel without actually being asleep. So there's all different. Anyway, I won't go down that road.
All different ways. See?
We'll leave it because
we'll park that one.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's a can of worms. We're gonna go there and then be like, wait, what are we talking about today? Dreams.
Yeah. Who are we? What are we doing? Yes. So back to dreams. So we just spoke a little bit about prophetic dreams.
Similar to prophetic dreams, you have precognitive dreams.
Something else, I guess, because I did skip us a little bit to go to the prophetic dreams and stuff like that. So maybe we do need to go back a little bit. What do you feel dreams are?
I actually, okay. Well,
This is actually a really hard question.
This could be a longer, like, it depends on the type of dream for me. It honestly depends.
See, and that's what it is.
Sometimes,
maybe we're at.
Sometimes I have dreams because, like, for example, if I've just watched a shit ton of horror movies, I'll have really scary, vivid dreams and I'll be reliving the trauma of the movie. And I believe that that's because I'm a very emotional person, that it's just my emotional centers kind of dealing with all that trauma of the horror movie and how much it freaked me out. Like if I watch Paranormal Activity, because I believe and I have seen stuff like that happen in real life. If I watch Paranormal Activity, I'm on edge. I can't fucking sleep. And then when I do, I'm like,
you're dreaming about it.
I'm like in my dreams, I'm on edge and things are chasing me or whatever. So sometimes I have those types of dreams that are usually influenced by what I've watched before bed. Other times I'll have dreams based on what I ate. So if I eat too close to sleep, I toss and turn and I have the most stupid dreams, like especially cheese.
I was about to say cheese and milk.
If I have cheese before bed, my dreams, like people say that you have sex dreams. I think that's bullshit because when I have cheese before bed, I have fucking weird dreams. Like they're so weird. And I remember waking up thinking, what the fuck was that? Like it just doesn't make sense. Like it just doesn't make sense. Then there's another part of me that also believes that the subconscious. So if I've been doing a lot of shadow work, so specifically intentionally doing work on the shadow self and releasing stuff out of my shadow.
Yeah.
Because with shadow work, what a lot of people don't realize, they think that once you go there and you do with it in the shadows and it's done. No, all you've done is you've released it and it comes from your subconscious into your conscious. And when that happens, I tend to have very vivid dreams. And that's when I'll do lucid dreaming. I'll intentionally do a lucid dream after intensive shadow work, which we'll touch on shortly.
Yeah. We'll touch on it in a minute.
But then there's also sometimes when I'll dream about things as a means of just kind of preparing me for real life. Like if I know I've got something stressful coming up, or if I know that, for example, I had a lot of dreams about my grandfather before he passed. And in my dream, he passed in the dream, but then I woke up, he was still alive. So there was that sense of relief that he's still alive, but also that sense of urgency that I knew in some ways that it's coming. My emotions are preparing me for the departure of my grandfather. So I made more conscious effort to go visit him before he passed.
I love that. So do you think that was a prophetic kind of dream? Would you kind of class that a little bit as a prophetic dream as well?
I don't know if it's prophetic or precognitive, like as in I knew that it was going to happen. Because to me, precognition is that it's the step before knowing. Whereas prophetic, I almost think like prophecy, that's like bigger. Like, I don't know if that's the technical term or technical definition, but that's how I see them. As precognitive is like knowing something before it happens, but prophetic is more like big, grand happenings. You know what I mean?
Big stuff.
Yeah, bigger stuff.
Almost like out in the world, like bigger world, wider world kind of things, not just necessarily.
Not just, small.
Our own lives.
Yeah, so it's like, I guess for me, dreams are a very complex thing, but I dream a lot.
They are. Yeah.
And if I meditate before bed, like if I do deep meditation and then I sleep, I usually don't remember my dreams. I'm able to actually sleep. Because to me, the two of them have a lot of crossover, and
they do.
We touched on this a lot in our meditation episode. So if you haven't heard it, go back and listen. I believe it was episode 10-ish.
I think so. Yeah.
I think it was 10. Yeah. Yeah. So, no, it wasn't. No. Episode 10 was Samhain. Episode 9 was the moon.
9.
Episode 8 was
8.
Tommy. Yeah. Maybe it was episode 7. Oh bloody hell.
gosh.
I don't know. We've recorded too many of these episodes too quickly.
I'll quickly look. So you can keep talking and I'll tell us what it is.
So for me, like, because I think that the two run hand in hand, because a lot of the time some people say that they can't sleep very well. And I always say, well, you need to meditate before bed, because what your brain does, your subconscious wants to deal with stuff, just any stuff, whether it's stress, whether it's thoughts, whether it's things that
whatever it is.
Yeah. So when you don't meditate, your body waits for that time when your brain is not active. So you're not using conscious brain, you're using unconscious or subconscious brain.
Yeah.
And then it goes, oh, now that you're trying to relax, here's all the things I want to think about today that you didn't let me think about because the conscious brain suppressed them. And then you have a toss and turn, toss and turn, can't sleep. However, when I meditate a lot, I allow those thoughts to happen. I don't chime into them. And once they've happened, they're gone. So then when I go to sleep, I don't think about those. But then,
of course,
I mean, I'm touching on something a bit weird on camera here, but like then it's when interesting dreams tend to happen.
Ooh.
As in not interesting, like, well, sometimes they can be sexual dreams.
Beltane related.
Yeah, sometimes they can be sexual dreams because guys, come on, it's human nature. We all have sex dreams.
It's human.
Yeah, it's human. Sex is normal. Let's not make it taboo. Weird. Yeah, exactly.
Let's not be all weird about it.
But yeah, so sometimes sexual dreams can happen if I'm really relaxed and whatever. So yeah, I guess my interpretation of what is a dream, like, I have just as many answers for you as there are interpretations of them.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think that kind of comes down to, like you touched on there as well, as like the different types of dreams as well.
Yeah.
Like
I mean, I didn't intentionally do it, but yeah.
No, you did it perfectly, and then that was a beautiful segue. And by the way, it's episode 7.
Episode 7,
meditation one. So
yes. So
jump on back and go have a look at episode 7.
If you haven't listened to it, go back. So, okay, so we've touched on precognitive, we've touched on prophetic, we've kind of sort of touched on sexual dreams, but we don't need to go into too much detail because, like, some people get overly obsessed. Like, they think if I dream about someone that's not my partner, is that a bad thing? Or does that mean I'm cheating on them and all that kind of stuff? Guys, don't read into it. It's your subconscious. Your subconscious never makes sense.
Yeah. And that's the thing I think we need to really put that out there, is that the subconscious talks in symbols and metaphors and all of these kind of things. It's not a literal space.
And it's a different brain system to your conscious brain. So you trying to use your conscious brain or your waking state brain or the brain you're using right now listening to us, if you're trying to use your conscious brain to decipher the subconscious, often there's like, you may think you know what you're talking about, but you're probably way off. And that's why, like, when I'm doing coaching, I actually do forms of hypnosis on my clients when I'm talking to them. And I also use techniques like neuro-linguistic programming or NLP in order to elicit or do an elicitation. So you elicit certain patterns from them. And it's a way that I intentionally tangle their conscious brain up in the detail of what I'm asking, so that eventually they let go of what it is they're holding on to, and then the real stuff
Then
comes.
they'll let it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, if you are the type of person that can't decipher your dreams, sometimes a form of hypnosis or working with a coach or someone that knows how to do techniques like NLP can help, because we intentionally trick your conscious brain so it pisses off. So then we can deal with your subconscious.
Yeah, I love that.
Oi, piss off!
Piss off. Get out of here. Hit the road.
But yeah, so anyway, back to sexual dreams. So sometimes sexual dreams,
why not?
Sometimes sexual dreams can literally just be something that you're wanting, and your brain. I don't know about you if you remember your sexual dreams, but I'm usually, when I wake up from the dreams, like, it might feel nice at the start when you first wake up, but then after all, I'm like, oh no, I'm glad I'm not with that person.
Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, it's that little bit of
fun in the dream,
but that's it.
That's it.
That's it. It's like, no, I'd much prefer reality.
Yeah,
prefer reality.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
I think that comes in a little bit with like shadow stuff as well. Like, that's the things that we keep hidden, those desires and things like that as well, which then they can, I guess, play out a little bit.
Exactly, because anything you suppress or repress into the shadow, which is connected to your subconscious or unconscious brain, so they're all connected.
Yeah.
Like, I know that we're talking psychology now, but like, it's important to understand this kind of stuff, because even as witches,
relevant.
Like, you guys want to do shadow work, you need to understand where the shadow comes from and what it's attached to, and what it's comprised of, because everything you suppress or repress gets shoved into your shadow, it's connected to your subconscious, which means you're going to dream about it, and then you're going to interpret it, and then you're going to think, oh, is that what I want? You know what I mean? So
yep.
Now, one of the other types of dreams can be an anxiety-driven dream. So when we're so anxious about something, for example, here we go. So my husband, some time ago now, he was on suspension from work.
Yeah.
Nothing that he did wrong. It was just a protocol that he had to do, and they were doing some form of investigation and whatever else. And he was having like a form of night terrors. So it's like an anxiety dream, because he wasn't sure if he's got a job or what's happening. Because they told him nothing while they were investigating. He found out after the fact, but that entire time he was having like
it's almost like panic. I was going to say
jolting in his sleep. Yeah.
It's like panic attacks in your dreams almost.
Exactly. And I had to physically wake him so he could realize that it was just a dream. It's not really happening. And to calm him back down. So I would almost say that an anxiety dream is similar to a panic attack, is similar to a night terror, which is different to a nightmare.
Yes, it's very different. My daughter had them when she was a lot younger, and it's awful. It's really awful to witness. Like, you're trying to comfort her, and she's just screaming but completely still asleep. Like, wasn't consciously aware at all, but she's screaming and thinking that all you can do is just hold them for that whole time, and it goes for such a long time.
Sorry, my cat decided to join us, and you can see her tail.
I can just see a tail. We always see a tail.
Yes. So there's the anxiety, and the other thing that can cause them as well is things like PTSD. So those panic attack type, like night terrors.
Yeah.
It's very common in, for example, war veterans, or people that have, or even refugees, or people that have been through some form of trauma. I mean, even if you want to go more mundane, so like rape victims, or people that have whose houses have been burgled, they often have these panic attack type dreams that it's going to happen again.
That's it. Trauma gets replayed through it.
Exactly, because your subconscious hasn't dealt with it completely.
Yeah.
And so it just keeps replaying it, because obviously you need to deal with it. Because trauma needs to be dealt with, usually in the form of either, depending on what it is, some form of like coaching, hypnosis, mental health plans, psychology, counseling,
all of those kind of things.
All of the above are suitable tools that you can use if you're having that kind of thing. But then on that note, so we have night terrors, but then nightmares.
Nightmares, yes.
Do you remember any of your nightmares? Like, just off the cuff, what's a nightmare that?
Do
you want to share one or not really?
I remember one from, this is many years ago. I had it, and it was a really weird. It was all in one night, and I had 5 dreams that I remember in that one night. 2 of them were exactly the same twice. So I had the same dream twice in the same night, 2 times. And then there was a 5th one, but I can't remember it properly. But one of them I remember was these people that were dressed. I was in like I guess it was like a shopping center. It was in a shopping center was the first one. It was in a shopping center coming down like an escalator. And then there were these people in like red, not army dress, but like red uniforms kind of thing. And then they basically just came in and opened fire on everybody. So
Shit.
I told you I have really weird, horrible nightmares. So yes, so that I had that twice.
Dare I ask what the fuck you were watching before?
I don't know. I don't know what it was. And
you weren't playing like COD or something?
No, I couldn't work it out. Weirdly enough, though, the second dream in that same night was then from the perspective of I was like in an apartment or something that had balconies, but the balcony ran the whole way across. And it was the same people that were shooting.
Oh.
Yeah, and this time was like people running away and stuff like that. So it was the same people again, which is a little bit weird.
It's actually you've touched on another point.
Really
no, that's okay. No, it's fine. You touched on one issue there, which was recurring dreams.
Yes.
And that's what I find with, so my nightmares when I was a kid were always about, so as an adult in my waking state, Chris says I'm scared of the dark. Guys, I'm not scared of the dark. I'm not. I'm scared of the things that lurk in the dark that I don't know. As in, so unseen. Like I'm fine to be out in the dark if I'm under moonlight or whatever else. But if I'm in pitch black and I can't see around me, because I'm hyper vigilant, I need to know my surroundings.
Yeah.
So I'm not scared of the dark. I'm scared of the unknown because I'm a control freak. But when you think of my dreams, like as a kid, I always used to have these dreams where I was in complete darkness, and it would scare the bejesus out of me. And the other one I used to always have was dreaming of falling.
The dreaming
and
I
would always wake up and I'm and it's like you literally like you feel your heart stop.
Yeah.
And you literally feel that falling sensation, all that kind of stuff. And the other one that I used to have, you're gonna laugh. Well, not laugh. So I also used to have really fucked up dreams when I was a kid. So our old kitchen was like on the corner of the house, and there was 2 massive windows, one on each wall, and the fridge was in the corner of that room, that corner between the 2 windows.
Yep.
And I would have to step down because it was a split level house. So I'd have to step down and walk across in front of the windows to open the fridge. And I was at that age where I would always get thirsty in the middle of the night. So I'd go to the fridge and I'd get some orange juice or water or whatever.
Yeah.
And when you open the fridge door, obviously the light comes on. So I'd be lit up.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have this dream where I would walk into the kitchen and it's complete darkness, but the curtains are open and all I can see is darkness outside. And as I'd open the fridge, I'd then be seen. And as I'd close the fridge and I'd be drinking my drink in the darkness and through the glass, I would see this red dot come and then I'd hear a bang and then I would wake up.
Oh.
So the red dot was like a laser on the end of a gun.
Yeah, like a laser scope kind of thing.
Yeah, on the end of a gun. And then I could go bang and the glass would shatter in my dream, but I would wake up at that exact moment.
Oh, wow.
And that was like every night I would have that dream. It got to the point it was so bad that I actually couldn't go to the fridge in the middle of the night anymore unless the blinds were shut. My parents would have to, they would have to close the blinds before the sun went down so that I knew if I got thirsty in the middle of the night, because I think I was about 10 years old, I could go in the kitchen and I wouldn't be in front of the mirrors.
Know that it's okay. Yeah.
Because one time I woke up and this was the most fucked up thing is that I didn't know if I was dreaming or because I knew that the curtains were shut and this one night they weren't shut. So when I woke up half asleep because I'm getting a drink, I'm not awake.
Yeah.
And I walked into the room, the curtains were open. So I thought I was dreaming. So
you're still dreaming.
I carried about my business. I went and poured the glass. As the sensation of the liquid in my throat, it's a sensory thing. I then realized I'm awake, and then I had a full-blown panic attack in the kitchen. I dropped the glass on the ground. It shattered everywhere, and I was like screaming hysterically because I thought I was about to be shot.
Yeah, because you thought you were reliving that dream in reality.
Because I was awake.
Yeah.
At that point, I realized I'm awake because fluids going down my
You can
throat.
feel it. That's right. There's that different sensation.
Yeah, and so like, and I remember just screaming, and like my mum, my dad, my brother, my sister all ran to the kitchen. They're like, "What the fuck is going on?" Like, and they've
Yeah.
seen this 10-year-old kid with this smashed glass, and I'm
Oh,
screaming, and they
no.
thought that I cut myself, and oh, it was just whole,
Whole huge big thing.
yeah. So,
All
and
from
that for me
nightmares.
was a recurring nightmare.
Yeah.
I still to this day have no freaking idea what that was about.
I know. And see, that's the thing. Like a lot of times I don't know what it was from, what they're trying to tell me or what I'm processing or whatever it is. Yeah. Don't know what it is, but
So,
they come back. There's also a lot of lore about nightmares as well.
oh really? Like what?
Yeah. So like old times they'd say that it was hag riding or like sleep paralysis and things like that was a result of somebody coming in and like sitting on an entity or something sitting on your chest and
So
evil, because that back in the day it was witches and older ladies.
the episode with Tommy
So, yeah, there's a lot of
Starchild.
law with hag riding.
I was gonna say the episode with Tommy Starchild actually spoke about my experience with that sleep paralysis / entity visitation
Yeah, with
thing,
entity.
and it was like scary as fuck.
Yeah. So that it is, yeah, it's quite it's a real phenomenon, and there's a lot of lore around it as to what it actually is. But
because I used to
touch on.
I used to subscribe to the belief that it was just, sleep paralysis is just my body shutting down all motor skills so that way I can focus on rest. But now that I am more in the esoteric space and I like live and breathe this stuff, like I actually don't believe that, because most of the time when I have sleep paralysis, I always detect clairsentiently another being in the room.
Something else. Yeah. So there's a lot of that it was like sent out, like the evil witches were sending stuff out into your dreams and attacking you through your dreams and things like that. So yeah.
Okay.
Interesting. So there we go. That's another little fact.
We've done the who and the what. I think let's move on to the when. So do all dreams happen at night?
No, because you can be daydreaming.
Mm-hmm.
You can be daydreaming, and it's a form of dream work.
Yeah, because it literally is. Because when it's and this is where again it borders into the space of visualization and meditation.
Yeah.
Like that, because like I know if I go outside and I have my back up against the tree, it's a form of tree meditation. So I literally just sit with my back up against the tree, and I go into that meditative state. But I actually do it with my eyes open so that I don't have random. Because again, hypervigilance. I don't want random people coming up to me when I'm asleep or when my eyes are closed. So I have my eyes open but soft gaze, and I'm breathing with the tree and all that kind of stuff, and then I just allow the images in front of me to pass, and it's a form of daydreaming / meditation visualization. And I get that's when I tend to get a lot of prophetic stuff. Like that's when I start to see things in a more waking state.
Yeah. So with that, do you think that kind of borders a little bit with lucid dreaming a little as well?
Oh yeah, I think it kind of does. But for me, okay, so do we want to touch lucid dreaming now?
Yeah, let's just
we might as well. Let's touch on it. So okay, so obviously there's different techniques on lucid dreaming, but my interpretation,
I guess, what it is.
Yeah, so I'm just going to refer to some notes just to make sure that I don't screw this up, because I don't want to give them false information. So the term lucid dreams literally means clear dreams. So the lucid state refers to a clarity and consciousness that we usually lack in the dream state. You could describe a lucid dream as your mind being awake as your body sleeps. So you're aware you're dreaming and have a certain measure of control over the dream. It can be recalled with greater clarity and feel very real, even though you are aware it is a dream. The term lucid dreaming was coined by a Dutch psychiatrist named Frederik van Eden in 1913 in a paper published by the Society for Psychical Research, of which Van Eden was a member. So though this is a universal experience in almost every culture, he was the first to bring it to attention of modern academics. So when people ask how to have lucid dreams, but I often question why. Why do you want a lucid dream? Like, because I've had people ask me, how do you have them? I'm like, but what's the purpose? Why do you want to have a lucid dream?
Why do you want to have a lucid dream?
Because you're basically, you're going into your subconscious. So it can, like, if you don't do shadow work, like if you don't purposely go in and deal with your shadow self on a regular basis, all of the scary shit that you don't want to acknowledge in your life is lurking there.
Yeah, that's right.
Because it's every suppressed and repressed emotion, memory, thought, everything is all buried deep in there. So I say to people, if they say, how do you do lucid dreaming? I'm like, well, what type of shadow work have you done? And they're like, what do you mean shadow work? I'm like, because it is a very real thing that, like, as soon as you start to delve in the shadow realm, you're opening up a can of worms.
Yeah, that's right.
And we touched on this in our episode with Sasha when we talked about the shadow. And now we're touching on it again. So with lucid dreams, essentially the whole concept is this. This is how I do it anyway. There's obviously many different ways you can do it. So you can usually set a trigger. So I might say to myself, like I usually do meditation, deal with some stuff first. And then when I come out of the meditation, I journal. And then after that, I go, okay, I want to have a lucid dream. I put the intention. So it's about the intent.
It's about setting that intention, isn't it?
So you set the intention and you're basically telling yourself, I want a trigger in my dream for me to know that I'm dreaming.
Yeah.
At that point, I want to wake up, but still be asleep. As in your consciousness wakes up, but you're still very much asleep. It's still your dream. And then you have a certain amount of control that you can choose to kind of take the steering wheel for a bit, or you can just observe and watch it unfold. And then when you wake up, you then remember everything. And I think it's important to have a dream journal. You need to write everything down because you're not going to remember. And also the imagery you're going to see in a lucid dream is not like modern day. Like I did Secrets of the Self, which is a shadow work course with one of my friends, Shivani. And every single time we did a session that night, without putting an intention out there, I had a lucid dream. Because I was dealing with some really deep-seated stuff that I was ripping out of my psyche.
Yeah.
You know, the whole concept of cut the onion and have a mouthful from the middle. So because we're dealing with all that kind of stuff, like it was just very prevalent. And so without even wanting to, I would slip into a lucid dream. And I remember them vividly. And the way you can tell that you're lucidly dreaming is because you feel like you're awake, but the things that you're doing, there's just no way that you could do them in the real waking state.
Yeah.
Like one of them, I was climbing some tower, and this tower was like I was climbing on the outside, and it was going up
Spider-Man.
It was going up but it wasn't like a building tower. It was like a tower of stuff. There was like tables, chairs, like objects, random shit that was all just stacked up in this big long, and it reached up into the heavens. And I'm climbing on the outside of this, and then things are falling down and they're almost hitting me and all this kind of stuff. And so, like, I mean, those who know with tarot, I love the tower. I love anything that the tower represents, and any analogy relating to a tower and things crumbling down around you is right up my alley. So the fact that this tower of me climbing this, I knew, put it this way, you can't stack chairs and tables and all these other objects up that high.
No.
And you can't fucking climb them that high. Like I was literally, the world was a speck below me. Like I knew that this is not real.
This is not happening in normal life.
Yeah. But see, for some people who don't deal with the shadow stuff, like you don't know what's going to come up in a lucid dream.
Yeah, that's right.
It could literally be all of your demons, as in not demons like entities. I'm talking about your inner demons.
Yeah.
They could rear their ugly head and come for you. Like... What I'm saying, like, because you don't know.
It's about, and again, it's always about taking these things really serious, like giving them the respect that they need. It's not to be fearful of anything, but to be aware, of what's really, go in with your eyes open, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. You have to go in with your eyes open and kind of not your guard up, but like, so for example, okay, this is just some witchcraft 101 kind of basic things. If I'm going to do lucid dreaming intentionally, I will always meditate and I will do any form of protection work I need to do first.
Yes. Yep.
To do with my energy centers. I clear my chakras. I do all that stuff. I do any energy balancing first.
Yep.
I also journal all the stuff that comes up from my meditation first. I don't suppress or repress anything. And then when I'm doing it, I will usually have some form of crystals, whether it be for protection or to elicit the dream state.
Yeah.
Or I might have herbs or other things like that will help me do the journey and for it to happen lucidly, if that's even the word, like just to help bring on
that clarity, I guess.
Yeah, exactly, for clarity. But then I always make sure that I tell my guides, guys, I'm going into my subconscious tonight. I want you with me. I tell them, because your guides are there to serve you. They just need, they're willing to serve you. So they just give them the command and say,
give them
I'm
the
doing a
guidance.
lucid dream. I need you to come with me. I need you. Like, it's not a want, it's I need you here because I don't know what's going to come up in these.
Yeah. Yeah.
And and then I remember them so vividly. And then the good thing about having your guides with you is if you don't remember them, your guides will tell you. They'll fill in the blanks.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Can fill in the blanks.
Because like you, all you need to do is meditate after you wake up and talk to your guides and say, these are the bits I remember. What else happened? And then they fill in the blanks for you. And then I've also then asked my guides, what does that mean? And you wait for a response. Like, obviously, I do a lot of spirit communication, so I trust my guides. But if you're new to that world, you could even just write it like in a more mundane way. You could write down all the imagery that you remember. And then, I mean, you can use things like dream dictionaries or dream guides and stuff to look into it. Obviously, I know I'm kind of jumping ahead to other topics, but like, obviously interpretations are that. They're an interpretation.
Yeah, that's it. That's what I think too. That's really important to realize that a lot of things in symbols and symbolism it is such an interpretation, and it's such a personal thing that what something means to one person can mean something completely different to somebody else. Like, for example, somebody may see a horse in their dream.
Mm-hmm.
And for some, that would be a really positive sign, a really positive thing. It could mean travel, movement, strength. But then for others, it could have that association of something negative, like the horseman of the apocalypse kind of thing. Like, I know that's quite going quite to the extreme, but it just shows that for two different people, it can have two really different meanings. So by all means, have a look at the different dream dictionaries and all of those sort of things, but it is a very personal thing. And what does that symbol or what does that imagery mean to you? What kind of feelings does that bring up? What kind of all of those kind of things?
Exactly. I mean, even just on a fundamental level, like, I mean, obviously all witches, like, one of the symbols that's most prevalent to us is the pentagram or pentacle.
Yeah.
But just on a very fundamental level, like, there are people that for them that's a sign of a devil and it's devil worship and all that kind of stuff. Like, and that's a symbol that we all accept, but most people don't. Like, not most people, but all the non-witchy people, non-witches, the muggles.
There it goes. But it has that different meaning. So then it's always going to. So if they were to look up in a dream journal or something and it said, oh, it's a protection or it's all of this or it's all that, that's not going to mean anything to them at all. And it's not going to have any relevance. And again, I know we've touched on this in other episodes that spirit, universe, source, God's goddess, deity, whatever you resonate with, they come to you in a way that you can interpret it, that has meaning to you. So I think that what meaning you place to signs and particular imagery and symbols is actually probably far more important than what you read
100%
in the book.
And I was actually going to say, so when you do dream work,
there's a lot of D's in that too.
Yeah, when you do dream work, you can like, it's important. Like, I've always stressed this, but it's important to have a dream journal or even any journal. And just jot down, like, I like to keep them separate because I'm a compartmentalist. It's a little bit OCD. I know, shut up. But I have my everyday journal that I just write any shit, whatever. Then I have my gratitude journal where I write only gratitude. Then I have my dream journal where I only journal about dream things.
Dream stuff.
And the reason why I do that, it might sound a bit insane, is because my whatever journal is just to clear the white noise out of my head. The gratitude journal is to put me in a state of positivity, and the dream journal is for me to be able to flick back and refer to, because sometimes if you have a recurring dream, or you can go, it may not make sense now, but then in 3 days' time, you might suddenly see a sign. If you don't know what signs are, listen to our one of our previous episodes. Episode 13 was about signs and omens. So when you see a sign, you then can go back and go, oh, I dreamt about that. And that's how you can then confirm your sign.
Yeah, that's it. And that's how you can start to find out what those different symbols and things, what meaning that you ascribe to them. You can find that pattern through different things. And like I said, it's really important to do it as like the very first thing that when you wake up, because often with the nature of dreams, that as time goes on, they start to fade a little bit.
Yeah, that's why you need to have a pen and paper. Don't get your phone. Don't get your phone. Because, guys, okay. The moment you pick up your phone, firstly, physiologically, the blue light from your phone is going to wake you up.
Yeah.
And the way you're going to remember your dreams the most is if you're in the alpha state, which is in the waking state, or the dreamlike state, or the what we call like the meditative state, which is when you're just opening your eyes.
Yeah,
you're not at
quite
beta.
there.
You're not at beta, which is when you're active and working around and using your conscious brain. You're kind of just waking. You're just stirring. You're like
that dozy part in between. Yeah, that's right. That in between space.
Yes, you grab a pen and paper. Hopefully you have a well enough lit room, and you quickly start writing down. It doesn't have to make sense.
Yeah, like
just write down symbols,
random words, whatever, anything.
Like you can write pink elephant, red car, big tower, people falling, whatever you remember.
It doesn't have to be a big story of the whole thing. It just
or
get as much
for example, my husband dreams a lot about his primary school. I don't know why. He always goes back to a place which is his primary school, and there's usually an element of chasing. Either he's chasing something, or people are chasing him, or there's usually a lot of violence, whether it be guns or some form of martial arts that goes on. Like there's a lot of fighting. And again, you have to look at it not as a literal thing of that he's fighting people in his primary school, because that doesn't make sense. It's that there's, for starters, like if we were to interpret that now, primary school is somewhere that would have felt safe to him. Yeah. It's a safe space that he knows. It's familiar. So that way he has an attachment to it because he spent many years there. Then with the people in it, they may not be literal people in your life. Like sometimes you dream about your siblings or your parents, but it might not be your actual parent. It might actually just be someone that is parent-like in your life. Or it might not be your actual sibling. It might be like a friend that you consider a sibling. Or sometimes I have dreams of people with no faces. Yeah,
I was going to say, or I'm dreaming of somebody, like it might be my brother or something, but they don't look like them.
But you feel the energy of them as your brother. You know it's your brother, even though they look like someone else.
Yeah.
Exactly. Like, I mean, I've had dreams of my husband where it's clearly not him in the dream, but I knew it was him.
But it was him. Yeah, that's right.
But it didn't look like him, but it was him. So there's all of these little things that you could sit there and start writing them all down. And then you start to think, what does it mean? So when you're fighting in a dream, usually it's you're fighting with something in your life. Like, so your subconscious is fighting with something.
It could be an issue.
So you might want to then ascertain.
Decision, it could be.
Yeah. So you might want to then think about what is it in your dream that you're fighting with, and what does it represent to you in the real life, like in your waking state?
Almost like a detective, kind of find the little clues in little bits and things like that to kind of piece it all together.
Yeah, and it's also, don't get, like with any kind of dream work and dream journaling, like don't get fed up when you can't work it out.
Because that's right.
Some of these things aren't meant to be worked out because it's just subconscious. Yeah. It's not in the same way.
It's just working itself out.
Which is why you dream. Other things you can do obviously you can ask your spirit guides for insight. They might be able to help you. You can meditate on it and see if through meditation you get more clarity because you're going back into that alpha state, which is that dreamlike state. Or you can do some form of visualization work where you can try to relive the dream in your, like you just close your eyes and try to picture the things that happen and see if you can place things.
Yeah.
Place things? Yeah.
Place things. Place the imagery.
The things, yeah. Yeah, the things. But yes, so dream journaling is, like, I think it's probably one of the most important things to do with dream work is to have a dream journal.
Yeah, definitely.
Other techniques, I mean, you can do things like dream circles, which is, hang on, I'm just trying to scan through my notes here. Think about what you did just before going to bed and then review your actions before that. Keep going backward in as much detail as you need until you get to waking up that day. This is called the dream circle. So because you're circling
so kind of
backwards.
Going back into, keep going back and back and back and back until you kind of find where.
Yeah. And then there's techniques on, like, that you can research on returning to a dream. So there's like getting back into a dream circle. With lucid dreams, as we've already discussed, obviously you could do a trigger. So you plant in your subconscious a trigger, like a pink elephant or something that's obscure. Don't just say a cat. It's not specific enough.
That's not, it has to be something really unusual.
Out there.
Yeah.
Or some people like to set, with lucid dreams, they set an alarm. So basically you set a snooze alarm for about half an hour before you go, before you have to get up. And then when the alarm first goes off, you inadvertently just turn it off, and then that will allow you to go into the lucid dream. Like, so I've never been able to do that because the alarm will wake me up. But
I was going to
some
say
people can set alarms and they turn it off and they go
turn it off and it's done.
And then they go into the dreamlike state. Obviously, there's you can do like spirit dreams, which is where you work with your spirit guides and totems and stuff like that, and you actually ask them to take you on a dream. It's a form of like shamanic practice.
Yep.
Shamanic, so based on shamanism, not shamanism.
No.
Shamanic practice. So you evoke the spirits and then ask them to go with you. You can also do dream spells.
Yeah.
If you really want to, you could do a dream spell where you actually basically you just write down your question or your intention and to have solved, and then you would say something out loud. Obviously, depending on your paradigm, you might say something to the god or the goddess so that you can understand this recent problem and you're trying to work through it to get a right decision for yourself, if it's for your highest good, blah blah blah, so mote it be, or whatever paradigm you work with, whether it's Wicca or not, that kind of thing. So you put in the intention to the goddess and god or whoever.
You could pop like it underneath your pillow or something like that as well, so it's under there.
Then you could have this is another thing, a timeout. So a timeout is the opposite of wanting to dream. Ooh. It's where you're literally saying, like, tonight I wish to sleep peacefully and rejuvenate my mind, emotions, body, and soul. I wish to stay in this world, in this body, and simply rest.
Oh, I need to keep that one.
So you put that out there saying, attention world, attention universe.
Attention. I need to sleep. Man.
I don't want you here today.
I need a rest.
Just piss off.
Piss off. Get out of here.
Anyway, then you can also do things like creating a group consciousness. So you can do group dreams.
Yeah.
Which I know people who have done that. I mean, obviously they've done it at retreats and stuff where they've done like things like ayahuasca and whatever else. So they're achieving that group dream consciousness. There's also a thing that you can do, which is sending dreams.
Ooh.
So it's where two people, they don't have to decide simultaneously to connect through a dream. One person can send a dream message to another. So witches and shamans are known to send messages to one another through their dreams. It's not something to be trifled with, though. Because it can basically, the recipient may not be open to it or they may not be aware of it, and it could actually freak them the fuck out.
Yeah.
So it's something that
I guess it then starts to kind of borderline a little bit there.
Well, yeah, I mean, doing harm to others. I mean, that whole concept of do no harm to others or whatever, that obviously a lot of witchcraft is based on, is open to interpretation. So I may consider, but it's a loving act. I want to send them a lovely dream, but that might not be for their highest good. And even if you take the Wicca out of it, just it may not be something they're open to.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. Like if people are ready for things at different times, only when they're ready for it are they going to actually be able to receive it. So something you think is nice and helping them along, like you said, could just scare the shit out of them.
So I think this is organically bringing us through to, because we've obviously talked about various different styles of dreams. There's also things like dream charms that we can touch on. So obviously I have a couple of little dream catchers here. And I know that some people may be like, cultural appropriation and all that kind of stuff. But as I've said in previous episodes, I appreciate the culture and I learn about them from Indigenous people. I have actually been to New Mexico. So I traveled to New Mexico and spent some time with some Navajo, and I actually took the time to sit with them. They were just like little artisan vendors in the middle of the street. Like most people walk past and think, someone begging for money.
Keep going.
Selling some shit. But no, I stopped being someone who practices a path that I do. I am an eclectic mystic. So I stop and I have conversation. And so I talk to them about what it is they've made. And they were making little dream catchers or dream webs. And so I asked them, do you mind if I just sit with you and hear some stories about it? Like, it's that whole thing of honoring and allowing them to explain to you. Don't just look it up on Google and say, I've read everything I need to know, and just be flippant about it. But even just, you can Google it, but go to a reputable source or see if you can find like a an indigenous institution, even if you have to phone another country overseas or send them a message on Facebook, and just tell them that you respect their culture and that you want to learn more about what a dream web or dream catcher is, and that you want to like learn about it.
Learn it. Yeah,
It's
that's
that
right.
respectful learning. So
Yep.
I do actually have dream catchers in my house.
Yep.
Because I love everything that they symbolize. And I mean, I even have one on my tattoo. I actually have a
Yes.
dream catcher from a moon, which is very symbolic for me. But again, it's coming from a place of respect.
That's right.
But so you can make things like dream catchers. There's also dream stones. Now,
Yeah.
I'll rattle off some of the more common ones. Things like aquamarine, beryl, blue aragonite, blue calcite, clear quartz, Herkimer diamond, labradorite, or spectralite is another name for it. Moonstone, mother of pearl, opal, pearl, red jasper, rhodochrosite, selenite, silver, and sugilite, however you pronounce that one. Sugarlight.
Yeah. Sugarlight, I think. I don't know.
Yeah. So there's all different crystals that you can use for dream work.
Beautiful.
Then we have dream herbs.
We do, yes. And you can make like little dream pillows and things like that as well.
Jumping ahead.
Oh, sorry. I get too excited. Too excited, especially when we talk about herbs.
Because this is where I was going to throw to you. So in this book that I'm referring to, the dream herbs that are, again, it's not an exhaustive list. These are just some of the common ones. There's apple, leaf, and blossom, chamomile, catnip, comfrey, elder, eucalyptus, heather, jasmine, lemon balm, lilac, lily of the valley, mayflowers, mugwort, myrrh, orris root, rose, sage, sandalwood, vanilla, and valerian. Do you know any others?
Beautiful. No, I think that
cover the main ones.
Yeah, that covers the main ones. The big one I always associate with it is mugwort, and you can also have like a mugwort tea, something before, and that's to help with dream.
I'm not there yet.
Before you go to bed.
It's okay. I'm following my structure because I'm like, we're not at teas yet. So I was going to start with dream bowl. Have you ever done a dream bowl before?
No, I haven't.
So basically, from my understanding though, it's basically you choose a dream stone from the previous list, you cleanse it, and you put it in the center of the bowl. Then after that, hang on. Then you take a tablespoon of 3 dream herbs, you charge them and clear them spiritually for, So charge them for clear spiritual healing dreams and sprinkle them on into the water. So basically you put your stone in the bottom, you fill it with water, sprinkle the herbs, so you have a little dream bowl, and that's supposed to sit on your bedside table essentially, which will help you with the dream sense. It's just making it a little bit more witchy than just having a crystal.
I like that.
Yeah. Then you have dream pillows, which these are your things. So
yes, which you can pick any of those herbs that were on the that we mentioned earlier, and you can add them to it. Add any little charms or anything that feels right for you, and you can just tuck them in under your pillow or in your pillowcase so they don't go away.
So one of the ones that
it's just very small.
Yeah, just it's a little pillow. You don't have to make it big. You don't make a full adult-sized pillow.
Not like a sleep-on pillow. No, it's just like a little, tiny little one that you can just slip in your pillowcase or something.
So one of the ones that, all of this information, by the way, guys, that I'm getting on dream stuff is from Christopher Penchak's The Temple of Shamanic Witchcraft. There's a whole chapter on the world of dreams. But this dream pillow that he talks about in here is 5 parts white rice. That's to fill your pillow.
Yep, you need your filler.
Yep. 3 parts lavender flowers and or leaves, 2 parts rose petals, 9 drops of vanilla or lavender oil. Use more if you desire, and your measurement part is more than a tablespoon. And then basically just fill it up and stitch it up, and then that's your little dream pillow. So it's a sensory thing as well. So you've got the physical energy of the plant, you've got the smells of the lavender, the rose, the and the vanilla, and it's because that kind of, I mean, now we're kind of tapping into our future episode, which is about herbs and incenses and stuff, but that's okay. We're going to talk about that in more detail then. But it helps the senses kind of ease into that state.
Yeah, it's kind of like you were saying before, like it's a trigger to as well. Like especially smell is such a big one as well that can get us into that state that we want to be in. So like that one that you were just saying then is probably a lot more for like a calming, relaxing, healing kind of sleep. If you're wanting to have particular dreams and things like that, I'd probably have, say, like a lavender or something to help relax you a little bit, but then also like a mugwort or something like that to the dream, like the actual lucid dreaming or
so not
dreams.
that this is really related to dreams, but for sleep, I actually did a concoction once in my diffuser. I was having so much struggle sleeping, so much struggle. Anyway, you know what I mean. And I actually put equal parts of vetiver oil.
Yum, I love that.
Well, I use doTERRA, so they call it lavender peace, which is basically their sleepy tea one. It's a lavender one, but it's got other stuff in it as well.
Other stuff in there.
Yeah, so there's lavender peace, then vetiver, clary sage, and ylang ylang. So individually, they're all sleep agents. Together, I basically gave myself a sleep bomb. I say it's the equivalent
tablet.
It's the equivalent of having basically, I don't know, like a horse tranquilizer in the form of diffuser. I literally put on because we knew we had to sleep that night because we had something big the next day, and I didn't want to have tossing and turning again. So I put it on, and I thought I'll just diffuse it in the house before bed. Within 15 minutes, cactus. So
I love it.
I call it the nuclear bomb of sleeping diffusers because it just
boom. That's it. Done. Gone.
Yeah. Now, sleepy tea was the next one I was going to mention. Or dream tea, not sleepy tea.
Dream tea.
So, do you have any particulars that you like?
Again is one of my favorites.
So
mugwort is always if you're really looking to have like that more, I guess, cognitive, precognitive or prophetic or the more lucid kind of dreaming, that kind of thing, mugwort is always my kind of go-to.
One note that Christopher points out in his book, because that's actually one of the ingredients for the dream tea, is that he says 3 parts lemon balm, 2 parts lemon peel, half part mugwort. But he does caution here, contact with mugwort may cause dermatitis. Do not use if pregnant or lactating. And large doses may be toxic. So guys, remember, we will be covering mugwort and other herbs in our upcoming episode on herbs, as was requested by one of our listeners. So thank you for writing in. We love it when we hear from you guys. So when we talk about these herbs that have poison qualities, obviously do your research and practice responsibly.
Yeah, I mean, that's for any herb at all, because they all do have, I mean, particularly if you are pregnant, that's a lot of the contraindications for a lot of different herbs.
Like lavender.
Yeah, like a lot of herbs. And
no lavender allowed when you're pregnant.
So do always be really cautious about them.
Yes. Then there's
not fearful, just cautious.
There's amulets that you can make as well for protection against nightmares. So one of them, you caught a glimpse of it before if you're watching on YouTube. So this is not a swastika. No. This is what is called a healing solar cross.
Yeah, it was taken over.
Yeah, unfortunately, the German Nazi Party took it over and used it for something against what it was intended.
Its meaning completely.
Exactly. So it's a dream cross, and it's actually a healing charm to clear the space of your dreams. But then obviously you can have. There's ways that you can neutralize any big dreams, and there's dream rituals which you can do as well. Like this, honestly, there's countless of different ways that you can do dream work. I mean, and you can pick up these dream dictionaries. Like this is just one from Kmart. Like it's not even an expensive one.
Yeah.
And again, I don't use this as a Bible per se, but I just use it as a means of like looking up for when you look at birds. It talks about, for example, in this one, it's got birds. It's got bird color, bird egg, bird nest, bird song, caged bird, flying birds, flock of birds, large bird, wounded or dead bird. And then it's got an A to Z of birds. Why did I pick birds? I'm not going to read them all because there's so many birds.
I was going to say there's hundreds of them.
But I just open up to that page. But it talks about all things from A to Z. Like these you can pick up for like next to nothing. I mean, I've got a really old one too, the Complete Dream Dictionary. But there's so many of these as well. I think there's a lot of them around at the bookstore.
And they're really, it's a good place to start and to use it as a guide kind of thing. And then from there, go back to what we were saying earlier of being a really personal thing. And what does that thing mean to you?
Yeah. Use it as a prompter.
Yeah.
just to get you going. Because if you
Yep.
read something and then you look at another book and read something else, and then look at another book and read something else, you might find that some of them will resonate and some of them won't.
That's
And
right.
then you can form your own interpretation, or even just meditate on it. I mean, I know
Yeah.
I bang on about meditation, but that's because I love it. Like if I have an image or a symbol, I will look at it, close my eyes, and meditate on it, and I'll see what messages I get, and I trust the information I'm getting.
Hmm.
So whether you see
Yeah,
something,
and
whether
that's
you
it. And
feel
write it
something,
down. Write that stuff down as well.
all of it.
Yeah.
So we've talked. Well, we kind of jumped around the topics a bit,
We
but
have,
that's okay.
sorry, we did
It's
that.
fine. No, it's fine. It's fine. So we've talked about how to elicit dreams. We've already
Yep.
gone down that
We've
process.
gone down that one.
I guess the other thing is like, why would you want to? Because we don't know who, what, when, where, and how. But then I guess why? Why would you want to do
Why?
dream work? What's the reason why you would want to do dream work?
Well, how long have you got now? Well, for dream work, why you would want to do it? It's like those parts that we were saying before, that it is a part of the subconscious and the unconscious mind that isn't always as easily tapped into in our conscious state or our waking state. That it is that other level then that you can go to, for want of a better word, a little bit easier. You can tap into that a little bit easier if you're looking for particular answers to particular things, you're wanting to know different things, you're looking for particular guidance, all of those kind of things. It's something that can be a little bit, because it switches off that conscious mind a little bit, whereas in our waking state, even doing meditation and things like that, we still often will have the conscious mind coming into our forefront.
I'm pulling faces. I'm like, maybe some do.
Some.
No, I'm just kidding. And I'm not.
Some do.
I'm not the
Some
world's
do,
best
maybe.
meditator. It depends on the day. Depends on the
That's
day.
it. But I think it can. Sometimes it can be an easier way to access those particular areas.
And for me personally, the reason why
less
I like to
scary
do,
way.
yes, 100%. So for me, why I like to do dream work specifically, it's all about shadow work. It's all about spirit work, like working with spirit, and it's also all about healing.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I use my dreams to actually do a lot of that inner work, so then I can heal it in my waking state. So it's things that I no longer am being held captive by. Is that good English? That's probably bad English.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like I'm not.
I know what you mean.
I'm not being held
that sounds
captive
good.
by these, suppressed and repressed things that I've just been pushing and pushing to the side. So I can just, tap into them and understand them differently, and then journal about them, and then over time it gets easier to deal with.
Yeah, that way then you can work with them, like you said, like you can work with them a little bit more easily in your waking state, whatever, to facilitate that healing.
And aside from that, it's fun.
Yeah, well, that's it.
It's fun to try to work out what the fuck that dream was about. Is fun.
Yeah, that's it. That's exactly it.
I mean, I know people have had dreams of like, when they're missing teeth, or when their teeth keep falling out, or when they do this, when they do that. Like, there's so many different ways you could dissect them.
Yes.
So many different ways. But anyways, I think that's.
I think we kind of covered everything. Yeah, we kind of covered it all.
So, guys, as usual, if you like the content, please like, comment, share the content. If you like to watch us, come onto our YouTube channel. Otherwise, if you just want to listen to us, we're available on all the major podcast sites. If you're listening to us on Apple Podcasts, please leave us a good review.
Yeah, that would be lovely.
Don't just leave us a review, leave us a good review.
That's it.
if you want to leave us a bad review, I'd prefer you just send us a message.
Yeah, just send us a message and let us know.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
and then that's the thing though. Like if we don't know, we can't adjust and we can't take on that feedback.
Yeah.
So.
And if there's any content in this specific episode that you want us to dive deeper on, do let us know. We love getting messages from you guys. We've received a couple of messages so far, and we've got some comments from people. Like, that's why we're now doing an episode on herbs. Because someone wrote in and said, hey, can you do an episode on herbs and another one on crystals? So we're doing that because that's what you guys want.
That's right.
But other than that, guys, until we speak to you next time, have an amazing day.
Have an amazing day. Bye.